Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is a new challenge that I've decided to set for myself here in Project Cars 2. And this one, and you probably can tell by the name of the video, is the Showcase Showdown Episode 1. How this challenge is going to work, it's not quite as random as the Wacky Random Challenge. I feel that challenge has run its course. We hit the end of the track list, but we still have quite a few cars that never appeared. I think I counted around 45 or so of cars that never appeared. We had a surprising amount of redos. The rally ones, of course, we had to kind of, we kept going back over the Rallycross light car, for instance. But we had a lot of repeats on some cars, and some cars never turned up. So the showcase element is I'm going to showcase how these cars behave, and the showdown is kind of the challenge, or the showdown challenge is, well, exactly that. I will explain. So this is a test that I did earlier. So if I go over to my dreaded spreadsheet, number Mark II, slightly modified for this challenge. Now, we're going to roll two cars per episode. However, we are going to run every single car in the list, which means there's going to be... it's not going to be 205 because one of them is a go-kart. We're not going to run the go-kart in this challenge. We are going to run 204 cars, nice even number, so therefore 102 episodes. When we've run a car, it will be taken out of the list so it does not get rolled again. One track will be selected, so in this test roll, Silverstone Stowe. Now the Rallycross track roll here is by and large ignored unless we get a Rallycross car here. So then, of course, we will be taking that to a Rallycross track because there's no point taking normal cars to a Rallycross track and Rallycross cars to a normal track. So, we return to the game. Realistic driver raids once again. I'm going to be running on board in every single car. All weathers are going to be clear and day on the default date. No, that makes a great deal of difference. Maximum number of opponents I can do for the track. So in Silverstone Stowe's case it was 7, but normally it would be 31. Now we are starting at 50 and 50, and I'm going to be starting in the middle. Oh yes, the field is all the same class this time. And the reason being is I'm going to try, where the whole showcase showdown element comes in, is because the Wacky Random Challenge was just fun. It was just me and Hamish primarily larking about and having fun. This one's going to be slightly more serious in the sense of I'm going to try and get the best possible position I can. For how many positions I beat, these two sliders are going to go up. So if I beat 8 cars, they will go up to 58. And then that's where we're going to start the next episode from. And if I lose 4 positions, so if I finish 4 positions down from where I started in the next episode, we will lose 4, etc, etc. Now, of course, for the Rallycross tracks, we'll always be starting in the middle. So, assuming you start 3rd out of 6 cars, you're only ever going to lose a maximum of 3, gain a maximum of 2. That's just the nature of the beast. There's only proportionally very, very few Rallycross cars. Damage is going to be off because opponents, AI. However, penalties are going to be on. Track limit penalties and the rules elements. So if you jump across the track, that's a track limit penalty. If you overtake off track, you get the slowdown warning, yada yada yada. Now that could really, really screw up my position. However, if I feel that the penalty was completely unfair, like I had to overtake off track to avoid an accident, for instance, I reserve the right to ignore it and deduct that from my time at the end, because sadly that can happen. So yes, it kind of takes the onboard element from like my second ever challenge, the Panorama Pandemonium challenge. We get to showcase all the cars, hopefully well. I can't really say I'm going to be showcasing my talent because, like, this combination for here, the monstrous Group 5 cars at Silverstone Stowe didn't go very well. But this was just me testing out how this setup is going to work. So then, without further ado, let us head over to our spreadsheet. So, like I said, just one track, 2 cars, no weather rolls. Let's do it. Around the first episode, around the first episode, it sounds a bit weird, but for the first episode, let us see what we're going to get. It is going to be... That's an interesting start. Oh, it happens to be Algarve. It happens to be the very first track in the list. You can see that that's, you just approved. The formula is there. So it's the KTM Crossbow R and the Audi Quattro Sport S1. Now that's a rallycross, so we'll have to do that. So we've got actually one road car and one rallycross car. So we're going to do the KTM Crossbow R at Algarve and the Audi Sport at Daytona International Speedway. Rallycross circuit. Okay. So then after the episode, both of these cars are going to be removed from the list. If we end up with a situation where both cars are exactly the same, which will potentially happen later on, the roll is done again, and it's going to do again and again until we end up where both cars are not the same. So it's not a case of we keep that one and pick one from the next roll. It's just to keep that element of random in it, but I can't pick and choose. Also, there will be no gamble rolls, so whatever we get, we stick with. So without further ado, let us head down to Algarve, shall we? So let's first of all get Algarve, the KTM, too far, the Crossbow R. What a starting car. So we can have maximum opponents in this one. Track I know quite well, so that's quite nice in a way that it's quite a decent car track combination to see how this setup works. So it's going to be the Road D cars. It's going to put us in the middle, so we don't then have that horrible situation where you start in the middle of your class. Oh, I still have a record here. Well, of course, that's for something I've time trialed at Algarve. That'll be a Road A. It certainly won't be a Road D for how that vehicle record thing works. So yeah, this will be an interesting way to see if this setup works. Come on down to Portugal. Yeah, so still standard setups. They're all going to be Road Ds, obviously, and I'm not going to be able to identify all of them. Great noise, great noise. Oops, I was already on the right camera. Away we go. So that started me in 18th, I think it was. So it starts you around the middle somewhere. It'll either start you can start at a random position, which I did think about. I did think about starting at the front. I did think about starting at the back. The reason why I haven't done either of those is if you start at the front, you can only ever lose points. If you start at the back, you can only ever gain them. So it kind of defies the showdown bit. Love to jag F-type ahead of us. Whoa! I did think about turning the interface off as well, but the reason why I haven't is the only way to know what driver age you've got on is, well, as far as I know at least, that interface on the right hand side, and I'm pushing an Aston along. So starting in the middle seemed the best way of doing this to kind of make the challenge, to have an in-game goal, so to speak. Oops. Smacked into the Aston. Again, I did think about having damage off, and as well as improved the AI is, it still will run over you. And then I'd be losing points through no fault of my own. That would be, like that incident would have been my fault. But we've all seen how the AI loves to kill you, and I can see straight away then if the dreaded steering mode is kicked in. Inside here, the Aston. Couple of crossbows. Oh, I gotcha. The Aston could nail me on the start from the straight. Because this is the first episode, I'm going to record a couple of episodes on this session and just kind of see how it feels. If it works, it gets uploaded, and of course you are seeing the result. Aston didn't blast past me as I expected it to. I could well kind of recruit Hamish or Doc or anybody that wants to join in, essentially. Haven't really thought about that yet, but then ironically when I started the Wacky Random Challenge, or when I was in the planning for the WRC, I didn't actually plan on having anybody on board there either. It just one day I was telling Hamish about it in just conversation, and I said, do you want to come along for an episode? And he ended up coming along for the vast majority, and Doc then joined in as well towards the end, which all made it quite good fun. Because I'm really not used to the onboard camera. I'm used to having that one. But we're running with... Oh, I got the right one, haven't I? So I'm not running with the external. That one. Yeah, we're not going to run with that weird driver's that helmet camera, the one that looks at the corner just before you go. I find that such a weird camera. So, started in 18th. I think I started in 18th. I actually forgot to look. I forgot to look when the lights went green. So I'll have to actually do that calculation after the episode's ended. Oh, Aston! There you go, that's what I expected the last Aston to do. But seemingly not. So again, the car track combination could really stitch me as well. But that again is the nature of the challenge. Through the inside of... Oh! You can also see how much I struggle with the steering on some cars. You can see it firsthand. Some of the cars sound... Well, actually all the cars sound a little bit different internally than they do externally. Some of them sound pretty damn horrible on the outside. Now, at present, until more DLCs come along and upset this balance, if I've done my maths right, we should run out of cars before we run out of tracks. Now, the tracks are not being taken out of the roll, so tracks almost certainly will be repeated. Now, the point-to-point tracks are included. Now, the reason being, for the most part, obviously some of the slower cars will really struggle to do circuit of the point-to-point tracks in about 10 minutes, but lovely roar of that Mustang. Oops! No, that's off! No! Oh no! Losing many points. Maybe I can block the AI fairly easily. I'm still up though, assuming that it was 18th I started in. Still 6 points up. It could have been much more. Isn't that just normal of me though? Also, the other basis of doing the challenge like this is we've had 2 challenges. Okay, PCAR's one, but we had them in, all on the same track, and I was kind of reluctant to do that again. I could have done it like, some of the new tracks like Kota or Red Bull Ring, but I was a little reluctant to do that. I think those challenges would have gone dry a bit earlier than possibly this one will. Maybe this one will become dry in about 3 episodes, who knows. But there's kind of something to make you drive properly. Doing it like this. Whoa. As opposed to just driving mentally. So I thought I'd give it a try. We've had a series where we can just drive like lunatics with, you know, damned to be the outcome. And you never know, I might even get better. As soon as the drift cars come up, it doesn't matter where I take those to. I've had it. I'm losing a lot of points with those. Because the AI can drive those drift cars like they are on rails. I certainly cannot. Oh, it's too slow for turn one. We need to go that way. Now, one rule I am keeping hold of is if I become in an irrecoverable position, i.e. upside down, or stuck in the wall or something, before halfway in the race, so in the first 5 minutes, the race will be restarted once and once only. So if it happens again, that's, you know, however many points lost. On those two. Checker flag will be out in a minute. 10 seconds. I don't know where the leader is. The leader is 10 seconds ahead of me, so they may not beat the line. Beat the flag! Ooh. That got a little lively. Did they beat the flag? Answer is they did not. No, I'm definitely not going to catch the guys ahead of it. 5 seconds or so to the guy ahead. Just got to keep it smooth now. Not throw it away. Potential 139, not in this car, sir. Also, we won't find any, or shouldn't find, AI being held up by a slower class. The amount of times we have, the race leader in something ridiculously monstrous being held up by a road G or something. Well, everyone's in the same class, so that should not happen. What a beautiful car this is. It really does not need driver aid. It's a good thing too, because it doesn't have any, but it's... Oh, what might have been a pack of 4 cars right there. 3 or 4. It is 4. Whoa, steady. I lost a couple of tenths on that last corner. In fact, I lost 4 tenths on that last corner. I was 4 tenths up and that's all gone. What a car! I mean, I knew the Crossbow was pretty good anyway. Well, I started 18th. I think. and finished 11th, so that'll be 7 points up. Ooh-wee. Oh, I love that car. It's fairly well suited to that track. It loses out on the straights, but it's pretty nice thereafter. So, 7 up. Whoops. Okay, the next car was the Audi from the fun pack. So it was that one. Oh, lovely looking beast. And it was a Daytona. This is just going to be an instant -3 for me. Because we all know that I suck at these rallycross cars. But it also means that where we had the pervert on the fastest lap there, also means that hopefully track and weather combinations we had, or bad track weather combinations we had last time, will be averted this time around. So all Group Bs. What have we got? Front 3 are RS200s, me, and then a pair of Renaults. Let's see how we do. Oh, I remember this one. You try and take a GT3 car around here. Oh, so we had GT3 cars as our opponents. I seem to remember the GT3 cars couldn't take the jump, they avoided it. Oh dear. Now tyre wear is on, so the tyres will get very, very hot and worn out. Oh, shield, come on. Ah, that's 200. Doing better than I thought I would. Again, I did again. I forgot to look what position I was at. It was 4th. We started in. Get back. Wow. I never any. Oh, come on. Never any good at these rallycross guys. Now, because of the nature of the challenge and the AI never takes the Joker lap, I will not be taking the Joker lap unless I'm feeling really confident and a long way ahead, which is not going to be common, especially in the bigger rallycross cars. It's not doing too badly in this Audi. Oh yes, of course I need to. I've just realised what I'm used to seeing is the relative indicator, where the board that tells you how far behind or ahead the next guy is. Well, of course I haven't set up this view yet. It doesn't have it in, so. Oh, overcooked the handbrake again. Hopefully, with also limiting the rallycross cars to just the rallycross circuits will kind of, and then part of the element of showcase is hopefully we'll see cars in their more naturally suited environment. That's not to say that you won't end up with horrible combinations like the Road G around Nordschleife, for instance. But at least we'll all be in Road Gs, if that is the case. risk taking the jump. Excellent. 3 seconds between me and the next guy. There's very few instances where you actually need the handbrake. A slight tap a bit left. Again, tiny tap of the bit. I probably, those of you that are very, very good at rallycross are probably screaming at me for saying that, or for how I'm generally performing. Also, the other reason for setting, the main reason for setting the AI levels to 50 to start with is because I genuinely don't know how the series is going to pan out. Oh dear. As you saw from round 1, the fact that they're at 50, okay, I made a couple of mistakes, which I might have had the win if I hadn't made those mistakes, you never know, but it's not like I was blasting my way through the field. Yeah, I probably was going slower than, definitely going slower than I could have done, but I didn't want to be in a position where just all the AO run off and I'm losing 30 points in episode 1. Hooray for forward drive. Oops. That didn't work. Crikey, we're not fucking over halfway. Going to drop the gear from that one. Try and tap the handbrake there, it doesn't do much. Yeah. This is one of the proper rallycross cars, one of the big ones. I would not be 7 seconds and pulling away ahead of my opponent. Ahead of my next opponent. Oh dear. Didn't like that. Now I don't know whether it's because I'm driving in car, but I don't remember hearing that bong when you had that slowdown before. Of course I never had it in the last challenge. The rules and penalties weren't on, but I did the Ginetta 240 rig and I don't remember having that audible tone there either. I wasn't in cockpit for that. Okay, that was too much happening. Oops. Wow. Oh dear, someone's having a bad day. You already see a blue dot on the map. Okay, I'm surprised the game didn't tell me off the map a little bit. No, not good. Doesn't help when the wheel comes loose either. Come on. Oh dear. Oh, it's gone horribly wrong. Go, no. No. Come on. That's 33 seconds? What on earth was that 33 seconds for? Oh, that's a tad unfair. Now, yes, I had a spin, but I shouldn't be adding 33 seconds for that. So yeah, in instances like that, I reserve the right to ignore the penalty, or deduct it. So I'm classing this as a win, and therefore plus 3 points. I think it was 4 for the start. I'll double check the recording afterwards and make sure that I have the correct points added on. 33. Oh well, and that's what I mean by ignoring the penalties, because I don't know what that was for. But that is it for this episode. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.